What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is the animated adventure film Finding Dory. This movie is reportedly smashing all the box office records right now, and I have to tell you that I think this movie is a little bit overrated. Okay, so now that I've made my bold statement of the day that's probably going to result in some people being really mad at me, let's get into my review so I can fully explain my stance to you guys. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so Finding Dory is an animated adventure film directed by Andrew Stanton and produced by Pixar Studios that is the sequel to the highly successful film Finding Nemo that was released back in 2003. Finding Nemo is considered to be one of the best animated films of all time, and obviously Pixar has a ton of other great animated films on their resume as well. Almost every single film they make is outstanding, with a few that aren't so great that are just okay, like Cars. Either way, Finding Dory takes place 1 year after the events of Finding Nemo, where Dory, a Pacific regal blue tangfish with short-term memory loss, now lives with her friends Marlin and Nemo and struggles to make friends and really figure out her purpose in life. Well, eventually Dory decides that she wants to find her long-lost parents that she was accidentally separated from as a child, and thus she, Marlin, and Nemo go on this journey with the end goal of reuniting Dory with her beloved parents. Okay, so let me be completely honest right up front here. After watching this movie, I just don't personally feel that Dory as a character is quite cut out to be a protagonist. I don't think this is at all Ellen DeGeneres' fault, who voices Dory and actually does a good job, but more so just the fault of who Dory is as a character. In the first movie, Finding Nemo, you do get significant doses of her, but as a supporting character, I think you get just the right amount of her so that she doesn't annoy you with her very overwhelming personality. Well, here she's the main character, and I just couldn't really handle this much of her because I'm sorry, her character in excess just kind of annoys me. As most of you already know from her character in Finding Nemo, Dory suffers from short-term memory loss, and she shows and tells you that pretty much 24/7. Well, she does the exact same thing here, but this time you get a lot more of it because she's the focus of this movie and she's obviously in it more, and it really starts to wear on you by the time you've hit like 30 minutes. It was sad because I found myself much more interested in what Marlin, Nemo, and the other new supporting characters were doing to help Dory than what Dory was actually doing to help herself. There's just so many scenes where Dory is talking to someone, she's like, "Hi, I'm Dory, and I suffer from short-term memory loss." Then the person she's communicating with explains something to her, and then she forgets 15 seconds later and they have to repeat everything. And this is funny the first or second time around, but after a while it just gets old to an adult viewer like myself. To a kid this might be absolutely hilarious, but to me I just became frustrated because I felt like we were wasting so much time by running through the same routine over and over again. And I get that's just Dory's character and that's how it goes because it's just how she is. But the problem with this impracticality is that I felt like the humor that translates from her character is mostly going to hit strongly with kids and not adults. The rest of the characters definitely had their funny moments to me as an adult, but Dory never really did because her brand of humor as a character just felt like it was being shoved down my throat repeatedly. But on the topic of humor itself, I definitely had a decent amount of laughs, I'm not going to deny that, but not nearly as many as I wanted to. I get that this is a kids movie first and foremost, but great animated films cater to a number of different audiences, and I don't feel that this one really did. I was in a theater full of kids and they all seemed to be having a smashing time, but as a 25-year-old man, I didn't find the humor to really be there at the level I hoped it would be. I will say though that story-wise, I felt the second half of the movie was a vast improvement upon the first half. The first half, story-wise, I felt was pretty redundant and not really very exciting at all. The second half, however, I really enjoyed for the most part because we got some introduction to some fantastic new characters voiced by great actors and actresses, and Dory being more self-sufficient. While I did like Dory being more self-sufficient, one problem that I did have with this movie is that Dory becomes self-sufficient out of nowhere and there's no explanation for it at all. She starts being able to remember things and you're just like, how and why is she able to do this now? And you never really get an answer. I liked the self-sufficient Dory much better, but I felt an explanation was needed to show how she got there. I still think the story did a really good job of tugging at my heartstrings though. I didn't shed a single man tear, but there are definitely some moments in this movie that will have you feeling something, and that's a good thing. Like I said, the first half of this movie is almost a complete wash for me because I didn't really find too much value in it, but the second half I thought was fantastic and more so aligned with what we got from Finding Nemo. The story is pretty similar and the events that unfold are very familiar, but I'm really not one of those guys to complain about that sort of thing. If we love something the first time, I really don't see what the problem is with giving the viewer more of it, as long as it's in moderation. Finding Dory definitely has some unique elements about it, but the familiar elements are definitely present too, because without that I think most people would walk away a little disappointed. I'll also say that the animation here is fantastic, just as every movie is for Pixar. The characters definitely have life to them and they never feel overly digital. They relay very complex emotions very well, and as a viewer this this allowed me to better identify with what the characters were feeling. As a whole though, I thought this movie was just pretty much an average entertainment experience for me, sadly. I really love Pixar's work, but this is not a Toy Story level film. This is more like a Cars level film to me. I very much prefer the original Finding Nemo film and even Brave over Finding Dory as well. Overall though, I still thought this film had some great animation, really interesting supporting characters with good voice acting, and a really good second half and ending. Sadly, I also thought the first half was completely redundant and boring. Dory was sort of an obnoxious and annoying protagonist, the film was too kid-driven and not catered to adults enough, and things sometimes happen with little to no explanation. I'm gonna give this film a 7 out of 10 and say that I don't think it's really worth the admission price as an adult. If you're a parent who wants to take your kid to this film, then definitely go see this one. But if you're an adult and you want to go see this movie, I'd recommend passing this time around and just waiting for it to come out on Redbox in like 4 or 5 months. I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on Finding Dory though, because I know I'm in the minority on this one. Let me know your thoughts on Finding Dory in the comments below, and if you haven't seen it, let me know whether you're excited to see this film or not. And as always, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for future content like this. Don't forget to keep sending me your review requests, because I'll give you and your channel a shout out in that video if your request is selected. That's all for now. This is Willfoxification signing off. See you in the next review.